We reviewed the Jaguar 2-litre F Type last year, and here's a little bit of that footage now. What would you say if I said I could fit these bags or this box in? Really? That's really what you think? Let me prove you wrong. My other half can't leave a thing at home. So, I'm going to put in these few things. What do you think about that? I'm not going to kid you, the opening is quite narrow, but it fitted all of this stuff in anyway. And it's going to fit this in as well. Have a look at these really cool lights. The rear view camera has a really wide view, and I like that a lot. But one of the most significant upgrades is the fact that we now have CarPlay. So I've myth-busted the first myth, that this car doesn't have a very big boot. It's just wrong, wrong I tell you. The other thing that people say is the 2 litres a little bit tame. Well, it's not tame. Well, it just isn't. It isn't tame. And it's got sports settings too, but it doesn't control the suspension. The suspension is what they call passive. The stop-start has stopped. And for this amount of fuel consumption, you would think that that wouldn't be necessary. When I took my foot off the brake just then, the stop-start started. The ride on this passive suspension is firm but fair. A lot of the F-Types have the fancy schmancy adjustable suspension, and that means when you change it into sports mode, it gets even harder, so it goes from hard to even harder. This one is good just the way it is. Handling is brilliant. There's a full suite of driver aids and safety features. There's blind spot monitoring and active lane control. You are literally not wanting for anything. Going around corners, the F-Type sits as flat as a pancake. And right now, I've got my bike in the back. My bike, mind you. F-Type is now, and has been since I first laid eyes on it, one of my favourite cars of all time. It's panty-wettingly beautiful. Of course, there's only 2 seats, but that's a good thing. It means no freeloaders on your weekend away. Here's a little bit more of where we stayed on the weekend. I think the clock tower was a nice touch. It's a B&B on the outskirts of Sydney. We just wanted to get out of the city for the weekend. And you can do that in this. Now, in order to go away and pack all that stuff in the back, the 4 suitcases and what have you, I had to leave the spare tyre at home. What that means is that I had to rely on the puncture kit. If you really get stuck, Jaguar will send a little man in a truck and he will bring you a tyre. On this smooth road, the F-Type is so whisper quiet. If you can manage it, leave the luggage cover in place. There's a significant amount of sound deadening in it. But I yeah, no, I wouldn't mind hearing a bit more sound. There is a switch here that I can press to give me more sound out of the exhaust if I want it, but honestly, that droning away at you gets really tiresome. So I just leave it in quiet mode. At the moment, the fuel consumption is 9.7 litres per 100 kilometres, and we've covered 200 or 300 or 400 kilometres. That's not bad for a car that is a high-performance sports car. It's not bad. This, of course, still has all those little Jaguar luxuries. It's got the Meridian sound system, which, by the way, sounds sensational. Apple CarPlay, I can stream my music. I can even play digital music from Spotify and the like. More importantly, I can use my maps. So to go to our weekend getaway, I got onto my PC, I plotted out the map on Google, and then sent it to my phone. Once my phone was hooked up to the car, it was just there on the screen. The problem came when my other half wanted to play music that I didn't want to play. The maps are on my phone, but the music was on the other phone. Now, you might have heard that little beep just then. The navigation system has built into it all of the speed cameras and red light cameras and what have you. Unlike Lexus, which, as you know, annoys me immensely because it gives you a bong and then a warning, a visual warning as well as a voice warning, this just gives you a discreet little beep beep. I can put up with that. That's no problem. I have no problem with that. What I've got a problem is the lady in the dash bossing me around all the time. As with my last review, I love the inside of this Jaguar. I love the built-in grab handle. I love the leather and the metal, and I love the pop-up vent. It is beautiful. And I think I've proved with a weekend away that you could do a road trip in this. Look, you've got a puncture kit that would get you out of a strife at a pinch, though a lot of the times that you want to use that puncture kit, you can't. You can't use it if the rim has been driven on or damaged. You can't use it if the rip is more than, say, 6 millimeters. You can't use it if the sidewall's damaged. So all the other times you can use it. So not many other times. I am going to rate F Type. Now that I've proved that you can go anywhere you like, a flat tyre isn't a problem, the boot isn't a problem, and it's now got Apple CarPlay, I'm going to rate it my highest ever rating, 9.75 out of 10. It does turn heads. People do notice it. They don't notice you, but they notice the car. The 2-litre version is frugal. It just sips at the fuel. The comfort, superb. The seats are brilliant. There just isn't any other reason. I really don't want to give this back. I really, really don't want to give this back.